Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jacquie Bird of Jacquie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. There's some stuff I want to tell you about. Chill down, chill out, chillax, renew. My end of the month virtual Stress Busters guided meditation class. And on March 14th, I am excited to present my new workshop called Gratitude is the Love Frequency. Gratitude is the Love Frequency. That is a guided meditation and journaling workshop. When we shift our focus to being grateful and appreciative throughout more of our day, it's a game changer. Gratitude resides within the love frequency. You cannot be stressed, anxious, angry, fearful, or doubtful when you exercise and practice gratitude. It is a way to open our hearts to what is working in our lives, as well as being an amazing gift to ourselves in self-care and self-development. The more gratitude we allow ourselves to feel, the more good feeling vibes and things we experience and share. So please don't miss this. Get your tickets now. The link is in the show description, so you can click right on that and go right to the workshop and see more details about it. Today's riff is tolerance or acceptance, which leads to a more open heart. We often talk about the word tolerance, that we teach tolerance. One of the definitions is sympathy or indulgence for beliefs or practices differing from or conflicting with one's own. This sentiment is represented on a pretty nifty poster with 4 forearms interlocked at the wrists with different skin tones, representing harmonious connection and coexistence. It's a pretty powerful representation. I remember being quite moved the first time I saw the symbol when it began circulating some years ago. Now, if we look at the verb form, tolerate, one of the definitions is allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of, and in parentheses, something that one does not necessarily like or agree with, without interference. Allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something without interference. I know you can think of a ton of things that you tolerate every day, all day, right? When we tolerate something, sometimes we're doing that with gritted teeth as not to express our displeasure, or we find ourselves tied up in knots, contributing to our plate that's already overflowing with stress and anxiety. To me, there always seems to be a breaking point with any of the forms of tolerate. We'll take whatever it is as long as we can. We will endure this for as long as we can tolerate it. The word acceptance has a few different meanings as well, but I'm going to go with Wikipedia on this one. Quote, Eckhart Tolle defines acceptance as a surrender to the now, response to anything occurring in any moment of life. There, strength, peace, and serenity are available when one stops struggling to resist or hang on tightly to what is in any given moment. What do I have right now? Now, what am I experiencing? The point is, one can be sad when one is sad, afraid when one is afraid, silly when silly, happy when happy, judgmental when judgmental, overthinking when overthinking, serene when serene, etc. To simplify, acceptance means allowing unwanted private experiences to come and go without struggling with them, unquote. I've kind of moved this quote around a bit, but I ask, tolerance or acceptance? Which has a more open heart? Which way sets up less resistance, less stress and anxiety? With both terms, the word allow is within both But again, which has a more open heart? Now, I know that these terms are for some interchangeable, and some would say, okay, Bird, you're splitting hairs. But in the context that I understand and present them, there is a difference. One leads our hearts opening more. The other, our hearts open just a bit. I will tolerate you as long as I can take you. I accept you. I accept you. I accept what you think, what you feel, and I honor it. In this quote by Joshua Liebman, he says, "Tolerance is the positive and cordial effort to understand another's beliefs, practices, and habits without necessarily sharing or accepting them." Unquote. I would add that while we may not accept another's beliefs, practices, and habits for ourselves, the next step is in the acceptance that these beliefs, practices, and habits do exist for others, are just as valid to them as your own are to you, and therefore, those folks that have those beliefs, practices, and habits, are free from your judgment. This, I say, though, is in regard to things that are not harmful to another being. So all of this stuff I'm talking about, it is not to tolerate or accept somebody hurting another being, be it animal, plant, earth, human. Judging is always a stress-inducing sport, whether we're aware of it or not. As I write this, I had to pull my own coattails in awareness that my stress levels will begin to creep up due to my mental resistance to how some procedural things were being handled regarding an enterprise I am a player in. My thoughts were not changing the procedures in the least, and how I ultimately chose to respond, hey, that's on me. That's how I choose, whether conscious or not. But I had to say, okay, you're a little cranky right now, even though you're telling folks, oh, you must acceptance. But Miss Girl, you're cranky. Okay, stop. So I had to just look at that for a minute. And I had to ask, tolerate or accept the situation? Okay, if I tolerate it, I'm gritting my teeth a little bit, which is what I was doing. I said, I chose to accept, and when I did, my response flowed out much better because I wasn't replaying the tape of how I didn't like what went down. In acceptance, I was able to see clear to presenting my position. And the thing is, I felt better. I felt better doing so, and I was able to let go of my agitation. Tolerating it would have just fed my agitation. But in accepting that this is what this is, my being annoyed about it is not going to change it. My deciding to tolerate it is not going to change it. I'm just going to be agitated. So you know what? If I accept that, okay, this is what this is. How can I best roll with the flow and be true to myself? And so saying that to myself, I was able to answer in a way that I was able to be at peace with. So, acceptance is the less stress way to me. Being in the moment of whatever that moment is, be there. Because when we are present, we are giving our full attention to whatever it is we're engaged in. With acceptance, there is no resistance to what is, and there's no judgment either. It just is. Acceptance doesn't necessarily mean you love whatever it is, but that you lay down the resisting of it in mind and in action. Find more ways you can be accepting of something, if possible. And if you can do that, you'd be surprised how much freer you'll feel. And then we tolerate, like tolerating yourself. Does that sound very loving? Accepting yourself. Now that's open heart time. Tolerating a particular habit of your partner, But in any given moment, you want to throttle them. Accepting a particular habit of your partner, that habit can't get a rise out of you as you accept that part of them without judgment. You go, that's that thing they do again. But it's not where you're saying it with gritted teeth and, as I said earlier, wanting to throttle them. It's just, you just move on. And you don't let it go through you. You don't absorb it. You don't swallow it because you're trying to tolerate it. You accept it. That opens you. And that habit can't get a rise out of you, as I said, because you accept it without judgment. Which one gets you closer to unconditional love in those moments? You may not practice unconditional love on a regular, but having more moments when you can experience unconditional love is priceless. Which one do you think gets you there? Tolerance or acceptance? I'm going to leave you with a quote by C. Joy Bell C. I am my own biggest critic. Before anyone else has criticized me, I have already criticized myself. But for the rest of my life, I am going to be with me, and I don't want to spend my life with someone who is always critical. So I am going to stop being my own critic. It's high time that I accept all the great things about me. End quote. Tolerance or acceptance? Which has a more open heart? Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to visit JackieBirdSpiritualWellness.com. Join my mailing list. I've got workshops coming up, as I mentioned earlier in the program. I have audiobooks, guided meditation videos, and audio and meditation music, everything for inspiration and to help you relieve stress, increase your mindfulness and awareness and presence. And remember to always roll with peace in mind.